One, two, three.
You know, something that I want to talk about. But where's my manners? My name is C2K, Chorus to Kill, the legend of backyard wrestling, the first ever BYW 2.0 YouTube World Champion. I want to talk about an incident that happened a couple days ago. Don't remember what kind of wrestling company this happened. And this is what I always have been saying for the many years that I have been in backyard wrestling, and for the short years that I was in the indie pro wrestling scene. Yes, I never had a pro match, but for the short time that I was in the indie pro wrestling scenes, and for the 33 years that I have been doing backyard wrestling, I always learned one thing, one thing that is very important, not only in indie pro wrestling, but in backyard wrestling, and it's called safety. Safety come first. Safety come first. But I always have been saying that's not a great idea to bring somebody in the indie pro wrestling scene or in the backyard wrestling scene, somebody that has no clue what he's doing or doesn't understand what indie pro wrestling or backyard wrestling is all about. That person I'm talking about is Raja. Rampage son. Raja, what you had done, you're supposed to be right now behind bars. I said it. You're supposed to be behind bars serving a lifetime sentence. Because what you did, Raja, was uncalled for. Uncalled for. Was very uncalled for, brother. Because you almost took somebody's life. I get what everybody is saying, but C2K, the man came and threw a beer on his face. The man thought that Rachel was like we say, a kid or a rookie. He thought it was a worker. Rachel is, excuse me, Sicko as a veteran, a war veteran, or indie pro wrestling veteran, breaking your kayfabe, a veteran or pro wrestling veteran, do this so-called bully the new guy. Some words was basically shared between both persons. Sicko came and threw a beer at him on his face, but then he said, "Are you going to sail?" The guys and even the cameraman says, I don't think that's a worker. We don't know who he is. I understand that. I understand that. It can happen. Miscommunication, it can happen. But Rachel, what you did afterwards, because I know they probably came and spoke to you, and they came and probably the referees that was there, and probably management and people behind the camera scenes, and they probably came to you after what you did, before what you did, and they probably came to you and they thought that, okay, let's make it a storyline. And I know, Ray, that they probably explained to you after the situation that happened between you and Siko. But you know what, Raja? What you had in your mind was very different than these people already spoke to you. Very different on the storyline that they probably, talking backstage to you, probably did a meeting with you backstage and probably explain everything to you and they say, hey, let's make it a storyline. But you have murder in your mind, Raja. You have murder in your mind. You win. You waited for the right moment. Probably that was the plan. After Siko's match, that was the plan. You interfere. But it's not you interfering because it probably was part of the plan. Probably was a storyline. Understandable. But what you did, Raja, is what you did. It's what takes the cake and it was angers me into this day. You almost took a worker's life. You almost took a person's life right in the middle of the ring in front of the audience so everybody can see. You got sickle, throw on the ground, but what you did next is what really angers me. You start punching his face for real, and you punch and punch and punch. Zico was unconscious, and you could say he probably died in that ring because what you did, Raja, was uncalled for, and you belong behind bars. You belong behind bars, and I hope and pray that you have no future in the MMA scenes. I hope that everybody bans you. Not only if they in the future you have other agendas or other plans to be in any indie back or whatever pro wrestling or backyard wrestling thing. I hope when they see this video, they ban you, they blacklisted you for life, and I hope that the MMA, what was the other called, UWC, whatever, who cares? But I hope that the MMA sees this and bans you for life and blacklists you for life and take whatever license you have to fight, they take it away from you. And I hope and pray that Siko and his family put charges against you. I would say it's not a good idea to put somebody in backyard wrestling or pro wrestling indie scene that doesn't know anything about wrestling. You know, this right here gets get me sick to the stomach. I've been doing backyard wrestling for 33 years. I did indie pro wrestling for a little bit. Yes, I didn't. I never had my first match, never. But the little time that I was there, I always learned that safety is first. That you want to keep your partner, that the worker that's with you in the ring, you want to keep them safe, because that person that is in the ring with you has family, has kids, has a wife, has a girlfriend, has a fiance that they want to come back home to. And then after Reja being confronted by his father, oh Reja, you want to go ahead, instead of apologizing, you want to go ahead and you want to bring the cameraman that was there. How dare you? How dare you bring somebody when you was the one that made that mistake? You was the one that fucked up, and you need to pay.
DI Promotions.
C2K Wrestling Promotions.
C2K Entertainment.
1, 2, 3.